Welcome to episode 56 of the Parenting My Pocket podcast. Live Q&A even, not the podcast. The podcast is coming out at a different time. I hope you've all been keeping well this week. Um, Things have been going good. It's been an interesting giving a talk last night to a group of coaches, Gaelic football coaches, and we were talking about how we can develop our children, how to interact with little kids, well, sometimes not so little kids, in a productive way that can get the best out of them and support them. So it was good. There was a lot of interaction, a lot of talking back and forth, which was fantastic. So yeah, I enjoyed it, and I hope it all works out for them. The latest NFT motivation interview podcast was out yesterday with NFT Ignition. So if you guys are interested in learning more about NFTs, she is wonderful and it was a really interesting conversation. So that was that. And yeah, I've just been doing a lot of work with individual people now on a one-to-one basis. So it's all going well. So we have a couple of questions today. We also have a parenting after separation and divorce course coming up on the 12th of March. So if you are going through a separation or a divorce and need a certificate for court, get in touch and you can sign up. What else have we got? Um, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. Oh, yes. For those of you interested in the Empowering Learning course, where we teach children with dyslexia or people who have challenges with how to spell and show them a new way to learn how to spell that uses their visual memory rather than their auditory memory, which is taught in schools, we have two group ones coming up now in March and April. So the March one is in Dundalk. I think that is fully booked up now, and April is the one in Drogheda, and that is getting close to fully booked. So if you're living in the Drogheda area and your children go to school in Drogheda, drop me a message and I will pass it on to Jennifer in the Loud Leader Partnership, who are supplying the program. It is completely free. If you are want to do the Empowering Learning course and not take part in the group session, just give me a shout and we can definitely look at doing a couple of sessions. That's all it'll take, 2 sessions, and your kids will be spelling like you never thought they would before. So we're going to crack straight into the questions today. Question 1. I have a good friend who has 2 kids. Her eldest is 16 and a great young lad. She spends so much time bitching about him on social media. She constantly makes reference to how moany and moody he is, how he complains all the time, and basically what a pain in the ass he is. She never complains about her daughter, who is the apple of her eye. I don't know why it drives me nuts, but it does. I think it's so disrespectful towards her son, who seems to do well in school and works hard. I'm at the point now where I want to say something to her, but I'm not sure how to address it. Have you any thoughts on how to bring it up with her? Sorry, without her getting annoyed at me? It's That's something that I've been noticing more and more over the last few years, where parents are more open or more willing. So it's in some ways it's kind of a catch-22. So if you are a parent and you're looking for advice and looking for support, so we get questions like this and people are looking for advice around how to work with their kids and improve things at home. That's one thing. And I've seen obviously a lot of that, which is good because we're reaching out to people who may be able to give us some advice on what we can do differently. And that's really important. But by the same token, I've noticed a lot of people who just complain about their children, especially when they hit the teenage years. And they people can think it is funny, and okay, some of it will be funny, you know what I mean, because it's kind of jokey and oh, they're so moany and stuff like that. But there is a line, I think, that we can sometimes cross, and essentially the same conversation we would have with our children around whatever we put on the internet stays there forever, so think about what you're posting. We need to apply that to ourselves as well. So it may be fine for you to post about how moany your 16-year-old is right now, But what's going to happen if he takes the inclination to, when he's 20 or 21, to look up your social media page for whatever reason? Or his friends turn around and go, did you see what your mum or dad used to say about you when you were 16? Look at all these things they were complaining about you. So the the challenge can be, is it being respectful to our children if we are going online and complaining about them? And personally, I don't think that is being very respectful. So now, I know we all need to try and process things and look for supports that can help us, but I think there is a space where we can do that without. So if your child is complaining, you can absolutely go on and look for support around, okay, I'm finding that my son is not in good form all the time. Is there anything that people can advise me to do or to try to see if I can help him lift his mood, for example, rather than he is such a moany little fecker. Full stop. Not looking for advice, but sometimes what we look for is someone to hook in and they'll go, yeah, mine's the same. And yeah, mine's the same too. And all of a sudden, it becomes like this bitching circle about our kids online that stays there forever. And is it fair? Because maybe there's more stuff going on than just them being moany. Maybe we're just stressed. So we've got a heightened sense of frustration around what they're doing. So here we have a friend, or maybe a rat. No, it's friend. Yeah, a friend who's saying that, like, it is really annoying me. I can't tell you why, but it is really annoying me. So what should I do? How do I address this with her? There's two things I'd say. One, you could go to her and say, I've noticed that you've been putting up a lot about your son and what's going on with him. And I'm just wondering, is everything okay for him? And they might say, yeah, he's just a whingy little teenager, right? You go, okay, do you ever worry about him actually seeing what you post? And they might go, no, in fact, I show him and I don't care, right? And that's all right. And then it's up to you to look at, well, do I change my feed? Do I mute this person? Do I not engage? They could also turn around and go, it's none of your business. Keep out of it. I'll say what I want about my kids. And what do you do? Like, you can go and say something, but is that going to get them the, are you going to make them realize that maybe what they're doing isn't that respectful, or are you not? And you know your friend best. So I would suggest maybe asking yourself, is this a conversation that I can actually have that I think will have a positive impact, where they will actually take on board what I'm trying to say? And I don't mean in a hurtful way, but but maybe it's something to think about. If you don't think your friend is willing or able or capable of doing that, well then I wouldn't have that conversation, and I would look at muting the posts, maybe unfollowing or whatever. But you don't have to engage in it, you don't have to read it, and that's up to you. Okay, so there's no clear answer there, but you have to make the decision around, do I think she will see where I'm coming from, or will she not? And if she's not going to, is it worth having the conversation when it's not going to have necessarily any the desired impact that I would hope that it would? But as I say, I've seen a lot of it. I understand the frustration. I've seen, I get frustrated too, because I do think it is being disrespectful to our children if we're going online and putting them down. The exact same way, if you saw that your child was going online and bitching about you, you wouldn't be happy about it. You'd probably pull them up on it and say, that's not on, it's not okay. We need to have the same sense of responsibility to our children as we expect them to have for us. It's essentially about respect. And we need to try and remember that they're human beings. And yeah, teenagers are moany, and yes, they whinge a lot. And guess what? Adults are moany, and adults whinge a lot too. So instead of always pointing the finger at teenagers. Sometimes we have to hold our hands up and go, we all do the same thing. All right, second question. My 12-year-old son is an excellent soccer player. I know that probably sounds biased, but he's getting a lot of recognition and being asked to go for trials with bigger clubs. He absolutely adores playing and is always so happy after matches or training. He doesn't do that well in school and says there's no point as he's going to be a professional. Given what we've been told, there's a good chance that it could actually happen. My worry is that what if it doesn't work out and he ends up with no education and no professional football? I want him to get the balance, but I'm not sure how to get him to understand. My partner sometimes takes his side and says, let's give it a go because he can always do something else. What's your opinion? Okay. So I can definitely see both sides. And that's not about sitting on the fence, but you're right. There needs to be a balance. And even the best players at 12 years of age don't always turn out to be the best players at 18, 19, 20, and don't necessarily make it to the level that provides them with a living. Okay. So I would always suggest to parents that if you can, to encourage your children to get some sort of basic education. So here we have a 12-year-old, maybe they're in sixth class or first year. So they don't have any basic qualifications. And we all know that I've got issues with the education system and how things are taught and what subjects are taught and given credence over other things. But I do think getting that basic level, be it junior certificate or leaving certificate or GCSEs or A levels, is really important, because your child will not be a professional soccer player for the rest of their working life, and they may be absolutely fine, they may be really happy, but it is important for them to have that basic fundamental education so that if things don't work out, they can go on and do something else. And you have a choice. You are his parent, and while you can't make him work, you can say to him, okay, I understand what you want to do is be a professional soccer player, and I will support you and help you get there as best as I can. But if I'm going to do that, you need to work at school and you need to get some sort of education. And if I'm finding that you are not putting in the effort or not working at it, I will have to rethink about whether or not we can be supporting. Let me rephrase that. I need to look at whether or not we need to be putting in the same amount of effort as you are. Now, you will always put the effort in because you're his parent, but he needs to understand that he has to buy into this too. Now, I'm not saying that he has to get 100% in every exam. You don't put that on him if that's not. If he's not, you don't want to set him up to fail where he's not going to hit that level. Okay, but maybe you can say we need to see a minimum of 60% in tests, or just an effort. So you know best. I don't know what he's currently at. You're saying he struggles a bit in school, but maybe that can be the this is what we need to see, and we will absolutely support you to become a professional footballer. And even if you get your basic education and you never use it, that's okay. At least you have it and you can decide to do what you will with it as you get older. That's your own business. But as a parent, it is my responsibility to make sure that you get an education. In terms of your partner, I would absolutely sit down and say, look, we need to put on a united front here. And it would be great if he becomes a professional footballer. I would be absolutely over the moon. It would make me so happy. But 1% actually make it to the top level. 1%. So there are hundreds and hundreds of thousands of young people out there who were the best player on their team, who were the best player in their region, who were the best player in their country at 12, 13, 14, 15 years of age. And they never make it. They never become professional. They never turn it into something that is that gives them enough of an income where they can not worry about working ever again. So it is only the 1% that actually make it to that level. So we need to look at saying, this is the situation. And if he makes it, great. Like I said, I'll be delighted. But we need to work together to help to get him through this education so that he gets something under his belt, and then we can move forward, or he can move forward. And all the time, for him and for your son, I will be delighted. I would be delighted if he became a professional. And if not, well, so be it. I'll be delighted whatever he does. So give that a try and see how it goes. Maria, hello. You can't hear anything. I wonder, does everybody else hear things? I hope so, because I've been talking for the last 20 minutes. And yeah, let me know if you are having issues with the sound. There shouldn't be any issues, but I apologize if there has been issues for people. Anyway, that's it for today. I hope you guys have a lovely week, and yeah, take care of yourselves. All right, goodbye.